Okay. I like I've said, I don't like playing Thundersoar out naked, but I can disintegrate my own Thundersoar to set it to an 8-4. It's not a good play, but it's a play that's a fun idea. And sometimes, if it's like a lethal push, you can do that. It's not often you get to make a lethal push there because your opponent, you don't want to hit your Thunderstorm and weaken it so your opponent's removal can hit it. But if you're off Forge and you can somehow give Thundersoar aggressive, then disintegrating it is good. I used it at Fuse Fest. Okay, so I would like to get value out of playing a spell. And I think Keldog 53. Ooh, okay. Setting mine to 0, buffing their own creature up. Keldog. Respect. It's a respectable play. And they got an upgrade. Cool, cool. Alright, yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. This is going to be the last game in this session of playing. I'm going to have to... If anyone in the chat wants to suggest the next faction pairing to try, go ahead. First person to say something, I will happily take your advice. Ooh. Let's Dreadbolt that. I don't like that. And now we played a spell, so this gets buffed. Then Lightning Spark can kill the Spell Sprite, or we can trade over the Spell Sprite with Fleet Colossus. But we have the other faction pairings. If you're really liking this Nekrium half, we can do Onyxium, which is Nekrium and Aloyan, or we can do Disian, which is Nekrium and Utera. If you're really liking this Tempys half, we can do Oratek, which is Tempys and Aloyan, or Umbruk, which is Tempys and Utera. And if you're like, ooh, neither of these decks are my style, Disian is the other faction that we could do, which is Nekrium and Utera. I'm missing Asperian. Oh no, I said Disian. I don't know what I said. Maybe I said those in the right order. Maybe I didn't. Do I want to take the 5? I think I'm okay taking the 5. I'll fight for board rather than fight. I'm going to use my health as a resource here. Because I have a feeling I'll have other creatures to deal with this 4/4. Like, I can either play Arrogant Walker, or I can Steadfast Geist into Spirit Leash. So I think I'm going to start with the Steadfast Geist. And then, if there's not a response to the Steadfast Geist, I can Spirit Leash this and buff the Steadfast. Or if there is, I can Arrogant Walker. And even if there's not another target for the Arrogant Walker, the -2/-2 brings the Spell Sprite to 3 attack. Oh, although in this situation there would be a spell. Yeah, okay. Luckily, we are going to be able to get the Spirit Leash play off with the Steadfast Geist. So we're going to do that, buff the Steadfast Geist. We've played a spell so we can activate the Spell Knight. And now, I'm assuming that Gizmo is going to be a favorable trade. I'm going to mobility over. So if there is I'm forcing either an unfavorable trade. Oh, okay. Stampeding Warhound. That one's going to be nice. Dealing 3. to the Colossus. That is a nice play. Okay, good job, Keldog. It's funny to me the name Keldog. My roommate's name is Kelsey, and I have definitely in conversation, yo, what up, Keldog? But my roommate Keldog is Keldog numero uno to me. But Keldog 53, I got nothing against you. Okay. Does my opponent have... No, their deck list is not available. Against this 8-5, I could play a Sigmund Fraud or a Combat Spectre, just trying to trade. And then use the Fleet Colossus. No, the Fleet Colossus doesn't work, but the Fire Fist Urati could. So I'm going to play the Combat Spectre to block here. And then if there's removal for my Geist, I'm going to play the Fleet Colossus, which hopefully against a 6-9 will trade. But if not, I can play my Fire Fist. Okay. Those are going to get buffed. But we can play the Fire Fist to deal 1 here to make these trade. Yeah, that feels good to me. And then I can save 8. I'm really going to flex using my health as a resource. I'm going to take this 8 breakthrough and keep this to be able to ping and trade favorably. So it's unnecessary to Everflame, but I could double up on this. My opponent can set something to 0. Ooh, so I don't really like my stuff getting set to 0. So because that's a big creature, I'm going to Dreadbolt this. And then I'm going to buff this up. I'm going to wait. And so either I can Disintegrate something my opponent plays. Okay, this is going to be a big creature if they replace this. Ooh, it's not a big creature, but it is a good creature. So is it worth disintegrating? That creature can get really, really big. But I also want to make threats. And whatever this 2/2 becomes, I want to be able to trade over it. I'm going to keep this because now we have at least the level 1 Fire Fist played. It's like in cycle 4, we have the chance to do a double activation with Everflame Aura if it makes it. I should have disintegrated the Steel Eye Researcher. I forgot about the Nanoswarm. Ooh, yeah, I really should have disintegrated that Steel Eye Researcher. That is really bad for me. Here we go. Like I said, my ability to play has been deteriorating as I play. But you know, that's the game. If they don't play another minion, then Lightning Spark plus activation plus combat damage from your auntie will trade. We do have the Steadfast Geist, which trades over the 12/6, which makes me want to play that later. Interesting. So I think I want to Lightning Spark and hit this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Lightning Spark and I'm going to hit this. And now it either trades in combat, or they play something to buff it. And the Steadfast Geist trades over the 12/6. Okay, do we buff the gizmo? Okay, so this works out very, very well for me. So the Steadfast does trade, but it doesn't live. If I give this +5/+5, it does live. But then I leave a 6 attack thing. No, I think I let the board trade. Yeah, I just never used my Forgeborn power. I think it's better. I'm left in a better state without Gizmo setup shenaniganry. Partly I want to play Indomitable Fiend because I have the Forge. I will just start with the Stealth. So Keldog is disincentivized from playing in this lane. And then if they do play in another lane, I can play the Indomitable Fiend second into whatever lane something ends up in. They can knock back. They can put something in the back row and give it -10. They can just neuter my Combat Spectre. What is strong here? I have a Dreadbolt, and I have a level 3 Combat Spell Knight, and a level 3 Steadfast Geist. Those are my only level 3 cards. I guess we'll block against this one. Life Drain. That makes this life drainable next turn. Even if they deal with the Indomitable Fiend. Like a Conflagrate or a Scypian Augmentation. I think Augmentation is the one with mages, and Experimentation is the one with gizmos. Okay, that makes sense. Get rid of my big stealth creature. Okay, we do see the Steadfast Geist, which can be good against the Spell Swarm. We do have the Life Drain to deal with the Lightning Tamer. And that will leave the Indomitable Fiend alive for the next turn, if that's the case. I want to play this last because I don't want the Steadfast to get hit by the knockback before it trades over the Spell Swarm. So I'm thinking of putting the Arrogant Walker here, blocking the 6/4, but it also softens this up so that it just dies to the trade of the Indomitable Fiend. Ooh, we aren't going to be dealing damage to him, to them. Unless Indomitable Fiend hits with this life drain. Yeah, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hit the life drain here so that we push damage in so that the Stout Specimen doesn't get to trigger. And now we have the Indomitable Fiend on Forge and a 13/8 to apply pressure. Then I'm really going to want this Combat Spell Knight, most likely to be followed up with a Dreadbolt, unless a very favorable Spirit Leash comes into play here, or a very good Fire Fist Uranti, because we still have the level 1 Everflame Aura, potentially to make a Fire Fist Uranti play. I should not have put them next to each other. But what was I going to do? So I will Dreadbolt this. No, undo. I want to keep the Dreadbolt. And I'm going to play the Fire Fist. I'm not going to get the buff here. These are just going to be defenders against each other, and I'm just going to use this to ping my opponent so that this never triggers. And then we keep the Dreadbolt in for next cycle when, like, the Stout Specimen becomes a threat. At the end of your turn, if you took no damage, deal 23 to the opponent. That's scary. I have a charge. One of my coolest memories, my first deck building, like, theory thing for SolForge was, this was after the Kickstarter for the back in 2022, 2021? I forget when it was. There had the TTS mod that you could play, and if you used Mantis to get Enhance, or what's it called? Yeah, if you used Enhance to upgrade a card in your hand, you could upgrade a level 2 card and then play a level 3 card. So you could play, like, I had a charge-plated Specimen. So I think it had 34 health. And you could play that in cycle 2. Which was a wee bit nasty. Ooh, okay. So I can either use Fire Fist to get rid of the Adept, or hit the opponent. Ooh, yeah. Do the Dreadbolt for whatever scary thing is about to come out. Hopefully it's really, really scary. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna just play a Combat Spectre. Save the Dreadbolt. Save the ping. Because there's a big creature that's going to come through here. And then we can Dreadbolt and Death Touch. Okay, so I can kill off 2 creatures. and I can use this to ping the opponent, so I don't take the 5 from this. And I think that's what I do. Now, do I kill off this one? Yes, because the next turn I just kill this here. Destroy creature. And now, even though this has armor, it should still be considered as taking damage. Yes, even though they had armor. That might be hotly contested, but if you look at compared to Thundersoar, like, it's more favorable for creature effects that say, when I take damage, take this, to synergize with armor, than it does of when I don't take damage for your hero, your Forgeborn. If you want the rules for armor to be the same within the full context of the game, it makes more sense to be in favor of creatures. I think we do a Fleet Colossus. We just put bigger bodies on board. Totally forgetting about that. Although we do get this back. But that was bad positioning on my part. I keep forgetting about that. Anytime you're going against Tempest, there's Turnabout and there's Ice Storm. And then set 2 stuff also has like Exalts where like you have plenty of synergy points to look for. Ooh. Yeah, putting all those together really put me in a bad spot. I'm hoping we didn't see... Yeah, there's still the potential for Everflame Aura on level 2 Fire Fist, level 3 Fire Fist Uranti. Ha! Okay, so this is how we can do it. If we play Fire Fist Uranti, use this to hit Fire Fist Uranti, activate level 3 Fire Fist Uranti, use the Everflame Aura on it to do it again, we're going to hit for 11 to the opponent. And I want to do that immediately before for Fire Fist Uranti. Okay, so this is... Now remember, way back in the early game, I made a decision on what could happen in Cycle 4, keeping this card level 1 and ultimately upgrading this. So this is like big genius plays. Now I can repeat this. I hit here. And then I can make 2 blockers on the next action. Now it's possible if they have a stealth creature to push damage. I have 6 more. Oh, there we go. That's going to be GG. Woohoo! That was a scary game. And because of that play very early on, we set up for the last possible point in the game to draw those 2 cards. This is the epitome of how SolForge Fusion is like, you are built. It's a deck builder where you don't get to build. Or you do get to build, but yeah, it's just very cool. And now we go into sudden death. And I have more health. The end of Cycle 4. GG. That was an incredible... I'm so glad that all worked up. Wow, that was so cool. That's what this game is so cool. You are... The actual deck building is simplified because you take this deck and you throw them together. But when you play it out, it plays like a deck builder of you're making your choices of what What card do I want to invest into? How do I want to develop my deck for future turns? And there's this I go, you go, I go, you go, and now you go, I go, you go, I go, and we alternate. Like, so many systems work so cleanly together to like make a very unique style of play that this really highlighted. I'm so happy with this game, and I'm glad that's the last game because I am feeling my mental juices deteriorating. But all of these are going to go up on YouTube